The 2022 Genesis GV70 is as striking to look at as it is luxurious inside. But is it efficient? Today, we're going to find out. This is Christopher Brower here with Daily Motor, and today we're running the real-world highway fuel economy test on this 2022 Genesis GV70 Sport Prestige with the 3.5-liter turbocharged V6. Before we get started, let's hop out and take a look around it. So, Motor Trend's SUV of the year. Here it is, and it looks absolutely fabulous. This one's finished in Matterhorn white, which is like a semi-gloss matte metallic sort of thing. I don't know how well it shows up on camera. This one's running on 21-inch wheels that look a bit like golf balls with their little pattern there on them. Those look nice as well. And overall appearance, overall design of this car is absolutely fabulous. I think Genesis has nailed it with this new design for the GV70. This is the first model year for this car, so it's emerging into the market. You don't see many of them yet, but I have a suspicion that in the next 6 months to a year, you will be seeing them everywhere. We've driven the 2.5-liter Genesis GV70. We've got a number of videos on that car on the channel, but this is our first time in the 3.5-liter V6 car, so we'll be curious to see how well this performs in our highway fuel economy test. If you're curious to know more about the GV70 as a whole, if you want to look at all of the different bits of the interior and exterior and all of its features, my full review will be linked in the description. But let's take a minute here to appreciate how nice this interior is in this car. It's absolutely stunning. Look at this carbon fiber. All good things. All right, well, with all that out of the way, why don't we go ahead and get started with our test. So why do we run this test? Well, the EPA's fuel economy test, which gives this 3.5-liter GV70 25 MPG on the highway, only averages 48 miles per hour. And we know that some people like to actually take their cars on long-distance road trips. So what we do is go out 50 miles and back 50 miles, averaging 70 miles per hour to get a more real-world figure. A couple of things worth noting today. Outside temperature is 56 degrees. Inside the cabin, we'll be running the climate control at 73 degrees auto, and I've actually already got it set at that. The tires have been pumped up to their factory door placard indicated 35 in the front and 39 in the rear. We'll also be using the same gas pump both times with the same 3-click filling method. Pulled up to the pump now, let's go ahead and do our first fill. All right, and about 6.5 gallons in there for our first fill. Of course, using premium gasoline, as that's what is recommended for our Genesis GV70. All right, trip computer resets automatically by itself. So let's go ahead and get started. A couple different drive modes on this Genesis GV70. The one we're going to use today is Eco mode to give this car as good of a chance as possible. Other drive modes, though, include Snow mode, Comfort mode, Sport, Sport Plus, and Custom. So you do have quite a few different choices when you are driving this GV70. I quite like the display in Eco mode. This car has a 3D gauge cluster, so Eco mode looks pretty nice. It gives you the most depth out of any of the displays, which I like. All right, well, the highway's about a half mile away, so I will catch up with you guys once I am merging on. Now, the purpose of this test is not to hypermile. I'm not going to be doing any sort of drafting or anything like that. I'm simply going to get on the highway, set the cruise control to a GPS indicated 72 miles per hour, and just drive for about 100 miles, and then we'll see what our results are once we get back to the pump and do some math. All right, let's go ahead and get our cruise control set here. Let's go ahead and set it to 72 and see what that translates to on our GPS readout. 71. Let's try 73 on here. All right, cool. Looks like 73 on the car is a GPS indicated 72. And under first highway impressions, I always love road tripping in Genesises or Hyundais or Kias because they just have the best lane keep assist and steering assist systems. They do such a great job keeping you in between the lines, and it takes a lot of the stress off of long distance road tripping. So that combined with this luxurious interior, if you wanted to, you have heated and cooled seats, you've got a heated steering wheel. Even though this rides on 21-inch wheels, the road noise is not bad. You don't really have a rough ride because of the 21-inch wheels, and it's just a really nice place to be. This is a very, very good highway cruiser. Not to mention these Alcantara seats keep your butt in place, keep you from sliding about, so that's quite nice as well. Sometimes this takes a second to adjust, but it's actually reading out now that our vehicle indicated 72 is equal to our GPS indicated 72. So that's a good thing, Genesis. You've calibrated your speedometer perfectly. All right, guys, well, I'm going to go ahead and get to driving, and I will catch up with you in about 95 miles. Finishing up the drive here in this Genesis GV70, and as expected, it's been a pretty smooth experience. The seat is unbelievably comfortable, no sort of backaches or anything like that. Consistently, no road noise, no wind noise, and it's just been a really nice experience, except for the lane change assist. I don't know if it's just not calibrated right or what, or if I'm an idiot and I'm not using it right, but like, for example, in a Mercedes S-Class, right, you've got your steering assist, everything, your pilot, whatever it's called. You put your turn signal on, the car simply gets over. You don't even have to have your hands on the steering wheel. But let me demonstrate here. I'm going to get back over into the right lane, okay? Put my turn signal on, okay? You have to be holding the steering wheel, so I have to have this little claw here holding the steering wheel. If you try and do it without holding the steering wheel, it won't let you. Also, if you put the smallest little smidge of input into the steering wheel, it cancels the entire thing. So that was actually one of the smoothest ones I've ever done that I just demonstrated for you right there. But overall, I don't really think that system is there yet. But I will say the lane keep assist, steering assist, everything like that does a fabulous job of keeping you in between the lines and taking a lot of the stress off of, well, driving. You're able to take a drink of your water when you want, and you know, if you want to unscrew things, and the car will be able to hold you in the lane for those couple of seconds, and actually even more. It usually lets you go about 30 seconds before it yells at you. So in that department, that's good. The Lexicon sound system, also pretty good. Got a couple different settings for that. And if you're curious to learn more about it, the link to Charlie's sound system review will be in the description. So make sure you check that out if you are curious. But other than that, indicated here on our cluster, we have done exactly EPA's rating of 25 miles, but our mileage readout is slightly different. Our GPS has said we've done 98 miles, and the car seems to think we've only done 97, so we know the exact distance of our route. We've done it so many times, but sometimes these clusters, or the cars, are not totally accurate. So we'll have to see once we get back to the pump how much gas this Genesis GV70 takes. We'll do some math, and then I will be able to give you guys a number for what sort of fuel economy we were able to achieve. We're actually up to 25.1 now. Check that out. The car thinks we're beating EPA by 0.1 of a mile per gallon. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to go ahead and drive my last about 4 miles here, and I'll catch up with you once I get to the pump. All right, and 3.859 gallons in there for our final fill. Let's go ahead and hop inside and do some math. All right, so we know our journey is exactly 102.2 miles. Divide that by the 3.859 gallons, and that gives us 26.48 miles per gallon. Not quite rounding up to 27, but almost. So we'll say 26 MPG. This Genesis GV70 has beaten EPA there by 1 mile per gallon. At the end of our trip, the car was indicating 25.2, but with our math, we've gotten 26.48. So do with that information what you will. Either way, impressive performance for a turbocharged V6 and a big, heavy all-wheel drive SUV. That is not a bad number at all. And in this GV70, we have a 17.4 gallon tank, which gives us an effective highway cruising range of 460 miles. So not quite 500, but you know, you're pretty close there. That is plenty of distance to almost go to Chicago and back from Michigan. I guess if you're not from Michigan, that won't make too much sense, but there you go. There's your highway cruising range, about 460 miles. If you were to round down it, it would be 450, since this would technically be 461. So we'll say 450 miles for your cruising range, about 26 MPG. So not too bad of a performance. Overall, I do like this car quite a bit. My full review of this Genesis GV70 will be linked in the description, so make sure you go and check that out. A comfortable ride, a luxurious interior, a striking exterior, and really for not too bad of a price. So thank you all so much for watching. This has been Christopher Brower here with Daily Motor, and as always, drive on.